The International Criminal Court has warned atrocities committed in the Sudanese city of el-Fasher may amount to war crimes and crimes against humanity. There have been harrowing reports of mass killings, rapes and abductions as the paramilitary rapid support forces pushed the Sudanese army out of the city last week. The ICC have said in a statement today these atrocities are part of a broader pattern of violence that has afflicted the entire Darfur region since April of 2023. Such acts, if substantiated, may constitute war crimes and crimes against humanity under the Rome Statute. Well, the UN says the conflict in Sudan is the world's worst humanitarian crisis, and the situation on the ground is rapidly deteriorating. Aid agencies say around 200,000 people remain trapped in el-Fasher in Sudan's Darfur region. They're living in desperate conditions and running out of food and water. Meanwhile, tens of thousands of others, mostly women and children, have fled on foot to the nearby town of Tawila. Some survivors have walked for days, covering hundreds of kilometers before reaching safety in a displacement camp in al-Daba in northern state. Hiba Morgan is at that camp, has been speaking to those who fled Darfur.
We have been hearing harrowing stories from many of the people who've arrived here. We've also been hearing stories from those who've been here for the past few months before the RSF took over el-Fasher, and all of them have different horror stories. Some of them saying that as they tried to leave the siege that the RSF had imposed prior to taking over, that their relatives were stopped, that especially the male relatives were abducted and imprisoned by the rapid support forces, many of them making their way here, just mothers and children with their male relatives left behind. Others saying that they're seeing their relatives on social media being killed by the paramilitary rapid support forces. Many of them saying they've seen the artillery strikes that was launched before the RSF took over. So they've seen headless bodies, they've seen bodies mutilated by the drone strikes and by the artillery strikes. Now they've come here hoping to find some kind of stability and some kind of refuge. But now the authorities in el-Daba have decided that these displaced people here will be transported to another camp on the outskirts of the city. So it's another wave of displacement for people who've been hoping to get some kind of stability. For many of them, it's not the first time to be displaced. They've been displaced from Zamzam displacement camp into el-Fasher, into neighboring villages, and now here. And they're saying that they're not sure if they will find any kind of stability anytime soon, as long as the conflict continues.
Well, joining us from Yala in South Darfur is Ala Eldin Nugud. He's the spokesperson for the TASIS Alliance. That is a group that refers to itself as a transitional peace government aligned to the paramilitary rapid support forces. Sir, can I ask, how do you justify your message of peace when you are allied with the RSF, which is a paramilitary group whose troops have been accused of war crimes in the North Darfur state, including mass killings, summary executions and sexual assault of hundreds of women?
Okay, thank you, Marine, for having me on the show. First of all, to say that immediately after el-Fasher liberation from the terrorist jihadist Muslim Brotherhood SAF, or what's called as Sudan Armed Forces, who erupted this war, and then even they contemplated much of the atrocities. There's a much of fake news and fake media campaign around what's happening in el-Fasher. What's have been
I have to contradict you on that. There is satellite imagery analysis. There is hundreds of eyewitness survivor accounts. There is video evidence posted by RSF fighters themselves, and of course numerous reports from human rights organizations, including the UN. Are you saying all this information has been faked?
Much of it is fake. We did a press conference as an official spokesperson of TASIS and the official spokesperson of the RSF, and we showed and explored all that fake media campaign using AI-generated photos, using AI-generated videos, and even they misuse some of the media channels. They misuse the videos of atrocities and Air Force strikes of the SAF against the civilians and posted as an RSF atrocities.
Okay, so just to be clear, so just to be clear,
time to explain, Marlene.
What I'm trying to understand is if you're saying this information has been fabricated, why are people fleeing el-Fasher? Why are people fleeing el-Fasher?
the people, actually, our forces, TASIS forces and the RSF, helped to evacuate more than 800,000 civilians from al-Fasher during the military operations. Right now, people are not fleeing al-Fasher. Right now, people are staying in al-Fasher because there is much of humanitarian aid reaching al-Fasher after liberation. More than 6 humanitarian aid convoys containing 50 trucks
Well,
of
I have to
humanitarian
say,
aid, and the TASIS
there
government
are many.
and the RSF reach al-Fasher right now. We are treating the people right now, even the prisoners from the joint forces, prisoners and soldiers right now were left behind. We are treating them. This is a very big fake media campaign.
Okay.
That's what's happening right now.
Okay.
The reports.
Can I
Even the
ask you?
satellite channels, the satellites, just give me a please. The satellite channels and videos and pictures taken from the Yale University report is a very deceiving reports and images. You cannot differentiate between that's a blood lake, as they said. Even the blood gets clotted after getting out. Is this a blood of civilian? Is this a blood of a military operation? If it's a blood, first of all, to say. So this is a very big media campaign, which is fake, and a very big lies that's happening right now in the media.
Okay, let's move on from al-Fasher. The Rapid Support Forces, who you are affiliated with, are also accused of massive corruption and gold smuggling in order to fund the war that is ongoing. Why should Sudanese citizens support a group or a government tied to the RSF, which profits from exploiting its own people?
No. The RSF is a military institution, a governmental military institution that's formed by a constitution in the Sudan government, by the way. And by the way, it's not correct to say that this SAF and this the RSF, because the RSF itself is one of the components of the SAF. It's just a misnomer that to leave the name of the Sudan Armed Forces for that what's right now called the SAF. It's a governmental military institution, part of the army, that is by a legislation from the legislative, the parliament of Sudan, and actually it stands with the revolution in December 2018. And right now, the Muslim Brotherhood NCP, dissolved NCP, that was led by Awad Umar al-Bashir, right now is controlling the SAF and controlling Al-Burhan. That's why they erupted the war to bring back the Muslim Brotherhood on the top and to rule Sudan again. That's why the RSF stands against this will. The RSF stand with the people will, the Sudanese people will. They stand with the people revolution in December 2018.
Okay.
And they stand with the framework agreement in 2021 that was about to, in 2022 that was about to bring back the transitional government.
Mr. Nugud, can I ask you, while the city of al-Fasher was under siege for 18 months, blocked from aid and reportedly trapped behind trenches built by the RSF, what actions did your organization, TASIS, and you yourself take to secure humanitarian access and protect starving civilians?
Okay, first of all, the Fasher was a part of a military operations against the SAF and the joint forces. The Fasher was safe during the beginning of the war, and there was a governor who called, his name is Nimr Abdurrahman, at the beginning of the war. He reached a deal to save al-Fasher and to bring the RSF and the SAF outside al-Fasher, and just only to protect and keep the peace with the joint forces. What's happened is that Al-Burhan, which is the high commander of the SAF, bring al-Fasher into a war zone by getting Jibril, Ibrahim, and Minar Komenawi out of the neutral state, and then they fight with the SAF. That's why al-Fasher became a war zone. The other thing is that al-Fasher was a normal as any other area of the military clashes. But what RSF and TASIS forces did, they evacuate the civilians to safe zones in Al-Tawila, Saraf Umrah, Kabkabiya, and others area. They succeeded in getting out 800,000 people from there and bringing humanitarian aid to them. What were seized in al-Fasher is not the civilian. They are the joint forces soldiers. That was the truth was there. And there is a very big lie, or a very big, what you call, very big false media campaign about ethnic cleansing in el-Fasher. This is a very big propaganda. What's happening or what was saying in the UN Security Council by Tom Fletcher, this is a very big propaganda, a very big fake information. There is no ethnic cleansing in el-Fasher. The ethnic cleansing was practiced by the SAF and the ousted NCP, Muslim Brotherhood, in all areas of Darfur. It's not by the RSF.
Okay, so regardless of what you're saying, there are many thousands of civilians in Darfur who see TASIS as aligned with the RSF. So my question to you is, what is your message to them tonight? Why should they trust TASIS, a group that is linked so closely to a group that has caused so much suffering over the years in Sudan?
Actually, Malin, what you said actually is also a wrong information, because once we declare the TASIS alliance and the Presidential Council by myself here in Niala, and millions of people in different Darfur regions and different Darfur cities gets out in streets celebrating the TASIS alliance and the Sudan peace government. I think the higher commander of the RSF and the head and the chairperson of the Presidential Council, Mr. Mohamed Hamdan Dagalu, and the Vice President, Mr. Abdulaziz Adam Al-Hilu, they were in the streets of Niala. Millions of people celebrated with them. Millions of people get outside. So this is not a true information that the people here are not with against the TASIS alliance. No, the people are with the TASIS alliance, with the Sudan peace government. They hope that Sudan peace government bringing back their rights that they lose during and that they lost during the NCP and the previous ousted Omar al-Bashir regime. To get right now, Darfur is safe after getting out the SAF and the military intelligence, which was used to bring clashes and military war and military operations in between the Darfur tribes. Actually, this was the doctrine of the military intelligence and the SAF. They ignited war and they ignited clashes, military clashes between the Darfurian tribes. Right now, Darfur is safe. Darfur is people are very happy by getting rid of the SAF and the military intelligence.
Okay, many thanks for your time. Ala Eldin Nugud, the official spokesperson for TASIS Alliance, a group that is aligned to the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Abdallah Hussein, who is a Sudanese journalist who's been covering the conflict. He joins us live from Khartoum. Abdallah, I'm not sure if you were able to listen to some of that interview I did with Ala Eldin Nugud from TASIS. You may have heard him say at the end there that Darfur is safe. The people of Darfur are happy to be freed. Your reaction to some of those comments?
Well, TASIS Alliance keeps on insisting that Darfur is quite safe at the moment, alongside with the RSF, keeps issuing statements saying that the federal police will take place now in el-Fasher and everything is going very well. Aid services will resume in el-Fasher to help civilians and to alleviate the suffering from the people. However, this comes in contrast with what we are seeing, and we keep seeing that from the videos showing up from el-Fasher and the nearby areas. People are being slaughtered, literally, people are being shot, families are being completely annihilated. We are hearing testimonies from people who managed to flee the city and reach a safe zone either in Tawila or in Dabba in the northern state. They are telling us horrible stories and terrible stories about what they have lived with during the past 7 days in el-Fasher after the RSF took the city under their control. The first and initial estimation from the government of Sudan that we lost 2,000 people in the first 2 days. I don't think if this can be called a control or order or civilian interaction. 2,000 people in just 48 hours, the 26th and the 27th. And currently, after 1 week of the RSF control, el-Fasher remains completely in the dark. No cellular coverage, no communication, no one can access el-Fasher. We are only depending on statements coming from local and international aid and legal organizations, and also from the testimonies of the people who managed to flee el-Fasher.
Okay, I appreciate your time. Abdallah Hussein, a Sudanese journalist who's been covering this conflict from Khartoum.
Don't miss out and get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.